And hello again and welcome. I'm Rich Lerner. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the PGA Tour announced a partnership with the Strategic Sports Group, otherwise known as SSG, to form PGA Tour Enterprises, a new commercial venture under the PGA Tour's control. The deal voted on unanimously last night by the PGA Tour Policy Board. Here now the terms of the deal: a new for-profit venture launched by PGA Tour and Strategic Sports Group. SSG's investment in PGA Tour Enterprises is worth up to $3 billion. PGA Tour membership will gain access to $1.5 billion in equity in PGA Tour Enterprises. Player grants, which vest over time, will be based on career achievements, think Tiger, and future participation. The deal does leave room for a future co-investment from the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. Notable members now of the Strategic Sports Group. You'll recognize some of these names. Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons and the soccer team in Atlanta. Steve Cohen, the owner of the New York Mets. John Henry, who's the principal owner of the Fenway Sports Group. Mark Attanasio, owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Mick Grousbeck, the owner of the Boston Celtics. Fenway Sports Group holdings include the Boston Red Sox, Liverpool FC of the Premier League. They are well represented across the world of sports, and the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins. According to the PGA Tour press release today, the transaction allows for a co-investment from the Public Investment Fund, from PIF, in the future. That will be subject to all necessary regulatory approvals. In addition, today the PGA Tour confirmed progress in its ongoing negotiations with PIF on a potential future investment, and both parties are working towards an ultimate agreement. In a conversation today with Golf Channel, the PGA Tour stressed a deal with the PIF is important in hopes of reunifying the game. For more on today's news, we welcome Todd Lewis. Todd, what more can you tell us?
Well, hi there, Rich. The PGA Tour has been negotiating with SSG for the last couple of months exclusively. They had an internal deadline to get this deal done on January 25th, which was last week, but there were still some details that needed to be ironed out. Members of SSG actually flew to Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, where the headquarters of the PGA Tour is located, to continue negotiations and working out this deal. They hoped to vote on this past Monday, but there were still some things that needed to be ironed out. And Tuesday afternoon, the PGA Tour Policy Board unanimously approved the deal with SSG. Now, Webb Simpson is on that PGA Tour Policy Board. He is one of 5 player directors on that board that are competing here at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I had a chance to catch up with him after the news was released today, and I asked him what this deal does for the health and longevity of the PGA Tour.
Well, I think it's first and foremost, I'm a player. It's exciting for us players. With the help of a lot of people, have created an opportunity where some 200 PGA Tour players will be equity shareholders of their sport, equity owners, and first professional sport to get there. So I think that's very exciting today. That's a huge headline. And honestly, as a player on the board, I've wanted for a long time to give the players something to be excited about. In the midst of a 2-year up and down, tumultuous time in the game of golf and the uncertainties of the future, today is a day where PGA Tour players can be excited about a lot of things, and that's one of them. To be able to say, we own part of our sport is really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. This has been a challenging time, not only for the PGA Tour, but in the game of golf. It's been on a fault line, it seems like. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like this adds stability? I
do. We've brought in an incredible partner in SSG who has years and years of experience in franchise ownership, sports all across the spectrum, and they are going to be an incredible partner to us. They want to grow the game. They want to grow the PGA Tour. They love the game of golf. They want to see it profitable, and they're going to do everything they can. And they're probably getting started today, getting going on all they can do to help us, and we're really excited about the partners at SSG.
You mentioned what they're trying to do. How would you describe the energy and excitement from SSG?
It's incredible. They have shown enthusiasm and excitement from day one. The first time we met with them, I think it was a few months ago. I can't remember the date. But they were, very upfront in telling us that they're not wanting to be involved just because they love the game of golf, but they see an opportunity to grow the PGA Tour, to make it more profitable. And they bring their expertise all across the board to us, and they're offering their services to us, and they're successful. So they're gonna see that the PGA Tour gets to a better place and continues to get to a better place.
Do you get a sense of this $3 billion in total, what they're investing with the PGA Tour and what they see, because it's a business decision, as you said, this is not a charitable case for them, on how they want to get a return on that investment from by putting all this money into the tour?
Yes, and those details are still getting worked out. The plans of how we can grow the tour are still ongoing, but they are very confident that that's what's going to happen, that will be the result. And look, the PGA Tour has always been the greatest place to play on the planet. It still is, and we want to show the world, the golf fans, the players, the future players, that the PGA Tour long-term is by far the greatest tour on the planet.
Finally, this is a deal that you've worked with SSG, but there's still the framework agreement going on with PIF and the Saudis. Just to make sure that the fans are clear on this, that is still something that the PGA Tour, now SSG and the DP World Tour, are optimistic that they still want to do and continue to work with the Saudis and get a deal done, right?
Yes, I think, like you said, those deals are ongoing. We see a future where they could be a partner as well. But I think today we just wanted to, be excited about our new partner, SSG. And the ongoing growth of the PGA Tour, and that's where we are. But the future, as you asked, we're not sure yet, but we're optimistic that there could be a place for everyone to be happy with this deal.
Bringing SSG in, does that give it better opportunity that the Saudi deal could happen now?
I think that's fair to say. We were so focused on getting to last night that that hasn't been the ultimate priority right now. The ultimate priority was making sure the board, the players, the tour, all involved felt great about SSG, and we all did. It was unanimous. So that was kind of our focus up until now, but now we'll grow, we'll continue to look at options, and we'll see.
And I'm joined now by Rex Hoggard, GolfChannel.com senior writer. We've been following this story, these negotiations with SSG and the PGA Tour. And you heard Webb say that they are still working out the details in regards to this deal. And a lot of questions in regards to players out here is the player equity program, that component of this deal. What have you learned?
This is such a big part of this deal and the deal going forward if PIF is involved, if they're not involved. Because essentially what's happening here is historic. It's never happened in another sport where the players actually earned equity in the product itself. And so there's a lot of steps in this process. I spoke with another player director this morning. They pointed out that the SEC and the federal government will have a say in exactly what this looks like. But to give you an idea of what they're thinking as far as the equity shares go, it's going to be very, very similar to what the PGA Tour does with their retirement program. Essentially, it's going to be a point system. And to give you an idea, you'll get a point for a PGA Tour victory. You'll get a point for qualifying for the Tour Championship and on down the line. And the way it looks right now is about 36 players qualified for a certain threshold. They would receive the lion's share of that roughly $750 million in equity share. After that list, there's another roughly 72 players who earned X amount of points that would also be involved in the program. And I was told by this one player director that they're also looking at ways to reward past legends like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, and they're also looking to reward players who are just coming onto the PGA Tour. One of the names that came up was Ludwig Aubert, as far as making sure that they understand that they too will have equity in the tour.
Yeah, like Nick Dunlap, who's making his PGA Tour debut here this week. But that's interesting that they are rewarding those who have built the PGA Tour, like Jack Nicklaus as well. And then there is the announcement to the players. They've heard rumors about this deal becoming a reality for a couple of weeks now. But they found out this morning too. Give us the details on how that went down.
There was the level of expectations that this should have happened already. I actually asked Roy McIlroy about what his expectations conversations were, and he told me yesterday that it could have been done weeks ago and that these have been ongoing. You pointed out it's been exclusive with SSG for over 2 months right now. And to give you an idea, last night's policy board meeting where it was approved was about 90 minutes. That was nothing compared to Monday's meeting, which went over 4 hours, and that's when they kind of hashed out all of these details. And there was another element that came up that I think needs to be pointed out, that it was SSG who actually recommended how the board will be made up for this new PGA Tour enterprise. It'll be 13 members. 7 of those will be PGA Tour players. They will have the majority of the say.
Yeah, and the PGA Tour membership was, the news was given to them via a call this morning that included members of SSG, included Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, included Tiger Woods and others who were involved, and it was a celebration. And I talked to several players out here, and they said they're still trying to digest all this information like all of us, but they see this as a positive for sure. And of course, there is the Saudi deal, the framework agreement with PIF. What do you think this does in regards to making that happen?
It probably makes it a little bit easier from what I've been told. And the reason behind that is pretty clear. We know now that it's going to be a $1.5 billion investment. That's the initial investment by SSG. That's about 11% valuation stake in whatever PGA Tour Enterprises is going to be. So that gives them a starting point that they can now go to PIF and say, this is the way we want to go as far as your minority investment goes.
Yeah, still a few questions for the players and the membership. They will get into all the literature and everything that was announced today after practice that you see behind us. But all in all, a very positive day for the PGA Tour and its members. Guys?